Happy New Year! I'm Angeline. We made it through the winter solstice. The sun made it past its solar standstill in the south, and now it's making its progression up more northerly on the horizon, making the days longer and warmer, and that marks the beginning of a new year, a new day of growth, a new year of hope. And so I'm really excited to talk to you about the numerology of your year. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about your year number, 1 through 9, and the sacred geometry of that number and how it affects your entire year. At first, you might think that this topic is sort of irrelevant to what we do here at the ancient Southwest, but I want to assure you it is not. And take a look at this image on the screen, for example. This is a Hopi mother-child image. It's very similar to other images used throughout the world, like this one from Greece. And you're going to learn more about this exact labyrinth image when we get to the number 9. I want to tell you about it right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. You have to wait till you get to the number 9 so you can see the progression and understand why this image is so important and why people, such as the Hopi, would choose this as the image to put on, like a trademark image, if you will. It's a symbol related to emergence. It's a symbol of completion. And it is a symbol that is generated from geometry, from sacred geometry. Geometry is just fundamental to everything in nature. Everything has geometric structure. And also, because here at the ancient Southwest, we study symbolism, it's important to recognize that symbols are largely based on concepts that come from sacred geometry, and the meanings and the influences behind what symbols become marked on the rocks, in books, in different forms of writings, actually are somewhat uniform amongst cultures across the world, and generate from the meanings behind the numbers that emerge from sacred geometry. That might sound a little convoluted. I hope that made sense what I just said. And you could make, I don't know if anybody has made a solid argument one way or another, if people worldwide, including in the American Southwest, have similar symbols that have similar, I don't want to say meanings, I want to say energies, associations, implications, because that geometry and the numerology that comes from it, that's so intrinsic to being human, is just a universal construct, something that comes forth organically just from the human mind. Or if there was a lot of travel in deep prehistory where these concepts were shared worldwide. Maybe a little bit of both? I don't know, but you'll learn a little bit about sacred geometry and the meanings of numbers 1 through 9, which are the only numbers that relate to mundane existence of humanity. After 9, you get up 10 and above, you start to get into spirituality in its more pure and esoteric form, and that isn't what the life of a human is about. That it can be, it's part of our existence because we have a spiritual nature, but the fact that we eat, sleep, breathe, taste, touch, feel, these things are what we would consider mundane, and that's what the 1 through 9 mostly deals with as we cognate it through our brains and our spiritual inclinations. I hope that what I just said will make sense after you watch more of this video. So let's get to it. So the first thing we have to do is calculate your personal year number. And this is done by taking your birthday. Let's say your birthday is November 27. And we want your personal year number for the year 2020. So it doesn't matter what year you were born. We just need to find out your number for the year of 2020. So what we do is we add all these numbers together. So that's 11 plus 27 is 30, what is it, 38. 38 plus 2020 is 2058. Oops, 2058. So 2058. We add all those numbers together. So 2 plus 0 plus 5, 7, 15. We come up with 15. So we add those numbers together and we get 6. So, whoops, sorry about the camera. Your personal year number for the year of 2020 is 6. Personal. This is your personal number. Now, the year of 2020 itself is a 4 because you add all those together and it comes up with 4. So, the universal year number, year number is 4. So just for everybody who calculates their personal year number, it will be a number 1 through 9. They will also be dealing with the 4 energy. 4 is stability, structure, hard work, commitment, dedication, maybe even stubbornness, achievement, but most of all, stability. And we'll get into that a little bit more when we get into the numbers. But stability, achievement are the structure. These are the energies you're going to be dealing with no matter who you are, and whatever your year number is, 1 through 9, will be in what area you can apply to your stability, structure, and achievement. And it's also the strengths that you'll have to work with while achieving during the year of 2020. If you're in a 1 year, you are in an extremely unique position of being poised to create anything. Now remember, the whole year of 2020 has an overall energy of 4. Stability, and achievement. But the primary energy of 4 is stability. And if you are a 1, you are the single point that is creation. Now, what I want you to imagine is this little dot has nothing to compare itself to. Okay, let's even pretend this isn't up here. A single dot has nothing to compare itself to. So it doesn't know if it's infinitely big or infinitely small. So you can think of this as the very first thing ever created in the entire universe. Had no concept of itself as it relates to anything else. So it's both infinitely big and infinitely small at the same time. It could be a dot on the page, but it could just as easily be a big circle, a big sphere like this. The tool of sacred geometry is the compass. I hope that this pencil shows up well enough. Okay, so this is you. You're both the alpha and the omega, right? You're both the smallest point within this circle, and you're the largest point in this circle. What does this mean for you in this year? It means that you are at this unique point of being able to gather all of your resources and make brand new decisions. And since we're in a 4 year, you're moving toward achievement in possibly make whatever choice you make. It seems it will be a balanced choice to make. Whatever you create will be well thought through, well grounded, and you can go in any number of directions because you kind of have a fresh start. You're at this 0 point. Well, it's not really a 0 point because a 0 would be the lack. There's definitely something here. In fact, everything is here. Everything is possible for you right now. It's like a clean slate. It's like you can lean in any direction and become anything you want to be. So you can take some time to really decide what it is that you want to lean into and make happen. A 2 year is when it's when the original circle takes a point, or the original sphere takes a point anywhere on its own circumference and creates its own twin. So this would be, let's change this up here. Now we're into 2. This is 2. 2 is when now this original point, this original 1 created its twin. Now there's 2. Now there's unity. Now that we have some relativity, you have made some choices. If your personal energy this year is in a 2, it means you have made a choice to move forward with something. And you can start creating. You've actually planted that seed. You have made a choice. You have moved forward. You've put something in motion that will give yourself an opportunity to have some relativity. For example, maybe you decided to start a new job, and now your life can take shape as it relates to that job in your life now. You have decided to I don't know, dye your hair purple. So now your life takes shape in relationship to how you perceive yourself with purple hair, maybe even how others perceive you. There's something to compare your isolation. In the 1, you're sort of isolated and you're planning. In the 2, you've made a choice and you've become more than one thing. So now you have something to compare to. You have, you know what it was before, and now you know what it is with this addition of this thing in your life. So it's a time of grounding, because the year number is a 4, and the 4 energy of 4 is stability. It's a time to begin making choices based on this new plant that you've planted and that's begun to grow. So this choice that you've made is now launching you onto a path. And what's magical about the 2 is that it's the first time it's possible to make lines in sacred geometry, because now you have some points, you have some connecting points where you can start to create things. And once you can, you can start to make all of the shapes of sacred geometry. You're starting to be able, am I doing this right? Yeah. The 2 is when you start to give birth. It's not having given birth yet, because that happens in the 3, but you see what new possibilities are available. When you're just in that first original circle, the number 1, you can't really create anything because there's nowhere to go. You are everything. But once you have become this duality, once you've added something into your life, you've started a new project, you've started a new job, you've started a new relationship, you started something, then you're able to make connections that start to build something. There starts to become structure for you. I could go on and on with the triangles and the lines in this. Any time that you can put 2 points together, you see, you can make another line. So this point and this point makes another line, and it just goes on. It goes on, more or less infinitely. You can just start connecting and connecting. You start to build a universe once you have lines to connect. Okay, I'm going to stop because I don't want to make the drawing too messy, but you see what you can start to make from the 1, and then suddenly when you get some relativity, when you get something else going, which is you this year, you have started something, you've gotten something off the ground, and it's starting to create the shape of your life. And since you're dealing with achievement and structure and stability, it looks like you can look forward to harnessing a steady progress of this new thing that you have put in motion. 3s. We started with the 1. The 1 being infinite, because there's nothing to compare it to, so it's all possibilities are still possible. The 2 is having created something, having made a choice, having given yourself some relativity. The 3 is the child of these two. So the 3 is when you start to bring in outside influences into the something that you've created. So if there's something you've been working on, a relationship, it's not just you and the other person. Now there's a third thing that is the two of you together. There's the me, the you, and the us. There's the you, your job, and the world that is created that is you and the job. Maybe there's a separate personality that you have for that job. If it is, God, I don't know. It could be anything. Once you add yourself to the thing that you've created, now you've created a third thing that has become the amalgamation of those things. It's a really interesting point of philosophy that in sacred geometry that this is the womb of creation. When you take the original 2 creates this womb, and through the womb is born all geometry. Once you have 2, you can have everything is born from the 3. It's sort of why the number 3 is a number of instability, because 3 is bubbling with infinite possibility. I mean, once you have the you, the me, and the us, now things can shoot off in every direction. It's like this is a time. It's like a fast moving growth in stable time. Instability isn't. It's not like chaos. There's no chaos here. It's instability because so much is possible. So you could be feeling in this year, if you're a 3 person, you could be feeling that, oh, I've really set some things in motion now. So much is possible. For example, in philosophy, and why you see the the Christian fish is because it comes from this philosophical concept. You see? That's the Christian fish. It's the creation of the 2 into the 3. It's the creation of all that is in our known universe from the original. If you want to talk about God in a traditional Western sense, God becoming aware of himself, and that awareness created a duality, which made every other possible. Then that duality was this. The duality became everything else that was possible. The you, the me, the you, and the us. Everything else that was possible. So once you have this structure of geometry, you can start to make every single possible geometric form, in the known universe. And I don't know. I'm gonna just draw a few, because what you do is you connect points. The triangle is a 3, you see, like this. That's a 3. A triangle. What more can I say in the sense for you? So this is a 4 year. The universal year. The universal number for this year is 4, which is a number of stability. And all of the things that come with the concept of stability, achievement, commitment. So these you in this energy of this year, where you will be achieving or working with a sense of stability, you, within that overall sense of stability and achievement that is the energy of the year in general, you are bringing to it just infinite possibility of creation, because of all the things you've put in motion already. Now you're in this wonderful time of being able to, from this place of knowing, of this place of confidence, you can just explode all over the map with whatever you've been working on. So take excitement from this. If you're the kind of person that needs to know what's coming next, but still has ambitions, this is a great year for you, because the overall energy is going to be a very grounding influence on your ability to create. So you don't have to feel stressed about this kind of chaotic, which direction do I turn now? I mean, should I go ahead and, I don't know, should I go ahead and stay with the original triangle? This is metaphorically, of course. Or should I just go crazy and expand my business into this huge, mega Fortune 500 thing, is this the year for that? Do I want to go with, something really big, or do I want to subdivide my company into something where it has lots of different departments and outsource some things? You see, you have a lot of options for creation once you have once you have the three. The three just goes on and on and on with all the things that you can create. And it's a really exciting energy to be in, right? Because there's no end to it. Just whatever you can imagine can be made in this energy you're in this year. Where can we go from here? That? Sure, why not? See, it's just craziness. Okay, so you get what I'm saying. Three, everything's possible this year because of what you've already achieved. All right, let's go to 4. Double 4. The universal number this year is 4, which is a number of stability. And you are a 4 this year. What does that look like? So we have the 1, the universal all, infinity, everything's possible. There's no relativity. It's just that point before things really kick off and start to manifest, but nothing is manifested yet. Then the 2s. The 2s are relativity. Something is set into motion. Now there's something to work with. There's something to compare yourself to. There's something to add into your life to give yourself some perspective. Then we've got the 3. 3 is what is the birth. It's the me, you, us. You see, you've given birth to a third thing once you add the 3, and that makes all other creation possible. And once you get to the 4, and here's what's so cool about the 4, is you start to be able to make, before in the sacred geometry with the 3, you can only make triangles. Triangles are wonderful, but try to balance a plate on a triangle, right? But once you get to 4, look what this magical thing happens. Once you get to 4, you get the birth of a square. Isn't that fantastic? Now we have a square. Now we have stability. So your energy this year is double stability. So this is a year where maybe things are really coming together for you. Maybe this is a year where you are really feeling in your power, in your flow. You have achieved at a certain level that enables you to keep moving forward without too much rocking your boat. It can really be a year where you can have success in all that you're doing. You can it's kind of it's not really a completion, but it's just like, you're building your house. Look, I want to show you this. This will be kind of nice. Take these points. I mean, a little bit of a metaphor. Ta-da! There's your house. The house sits on the foundation of 4 walls. It's just this wonderful, stable energy. Now, I do caution you that the 4 can also be stubborn. So look out for getting into a rut this year, because that could be a trap you could fall into with this 4 energy. Let's see what else we can do here. Yeah. In the tarot, the number 4 in the major arcana is the Emperor. The Emperor is in charge. He runs his empire to serve the Emperor. He doesn't want anything to change because everything works for the Emperor. He's the Emperor, right? So if anything changes, that could challenge what he likes, which is his stability, his control, his own empire. So the emperor is a wonderful energy to be in if you're the emperor, but if something comes at you that needs to change, you have to check yourself and make sure that you're not just using your ego to keep things from changing because everything is feeling so good, and why rock the boat? Be aware that you could be trapped in this energy this year. It's a wonderful energy to be in as long as everything's going well, but also be warned that things could, if chaos ensues, you have to be ready to make some changes. I mean, it's nice and comfy to sit here all balanced and sitting in your seat, but it might be necessary for you to take a look at what else is possible in this situation so that you could create something that it might not look or feel as stable to you, but it could be what's needed in the situation. Or even this. I mean, the emperor might have to make something like this, God forbid. I mean, this is just putting everything at risk, isn't it? Look at that. Imagine having to balance on this. The emperor, though, this is all coming from the 4, right? This shape, this exact angle and this exact shape is not possible until we get to the 4. And it can only come from the emperor's energy. So if you're getting my metaphor, what I'm saying is that the emperor, you being in the stable place, now must have the courage to expand when necessary and to get to something that might feel less stable. You're sitting on the lovely ground at this level, but what might be required is to sit on the lovely ground at a new, more dangerous, not dangerous, what am I trying to say? More courageous, more creative perspective of where you have been operating. Because now you can. You could not have done this. You could not have taken the risks that you will be able to take this year because you weren't stable enough to even be able to manifest new risks. Now you have reached this level of stability where you're being challenged to go beyond what you thought was possible. Yeah. That's it. This year, you're feeling good. Everything's going well, and the universal energy is on your side as well. So you're being challenged to enjoy it, use it, but be cautioned not to get stuck in it. Be willing to look beyond and see what more could be possible. People, if you're a year number 5, you are in for a lot of change. Okay, the good news is that the universal number this year is 4, which is stability. Stability, structure, achievement. But you are in a 5 place. Now the 5 is fantastic, it's crazy, but it does mean change, okay? Because in the 1 through 4s, we've been working up to creating something, and we've created stability. Now it's time to break that stability apart and move toward creating a whole new, more complicated situation based on everything you've already learned, all right? And just to demonstrate that, the sacred geometry of the 5 is crazy. All right, let's just start. I'll show you what it takes, because when you get to the 5, what you're able to do is regenerate. Don't you love that? Your year is a year of regeneration. And I think that's the best word. Let's call it that, regeneration, because that is the hallmark of the 5, is the ability to regenerate. And I'll show you every number up until now. You can watch for the other numbers to see how the sacred geometry and numerology of your number plays out in a practical way in the universal geometrics of all of creation. But at the 5, something new happens. Okay, so here we have the original 1, everything's possible. The 2, something is created and added to it. And this is the womb of all creation. All right, this is called the Vesica Pisces in sacred geometry, and it is the womb of creation. You can see that it's vulva-like. And once you're in the 5, you are able to create a universe inside the womb of creation, geometrically and in nature. I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to go through some acrobatics to make this 5 for you, to make the pentagram for you. The pentagon for you inside the womb of creation, this regeneration energy that you're in. And after that, I'll explain it. So I think you'll just have to watch this. Maybe I'll put it in fast motion here for you so that it won't take forever, but it is pretty cool. So here we go. All right. Well, you can see I'm not a perfect geometer, but I'm doing my best. Okay, and then from there we can go into other forms as well. This is a really important form. The pentagram is a very important form in creation. You'll notice that the shape of leaves are in the form of a pentagram. A pentagon. Sorry, a pentagon is a very important shape in creation. Leaves are in the shape. The human body is in the shape of a pentagon and a pentagram. Human body, so the human body goes in there somewhere like this. You know, the famous drawing of the person inside the pentagram. The torso is somewhere in here. The legs go like this. You see, that's the golden mean, the shape of the human body. Leaves. The hand, the human hand, is in the shape of a pentagon. Basically, all natural life is related to the geometry of the number 5. It's created. Everything in the natural world is sort of based on the creation of the pentagon, the 5. The shape of it comes from this kind of atomic structure, if you will, molecular structure. I don't know, this geometric structure. Also, with the pentagram, the number 5, oh, I'm sorry, that's not right. The number 5 is also the 5th of the 5 platonic solids. So when you're talking about creation, you have earth, air, fire, water, and then this thing that is the 5 that is created from earth, air, fire, water, and the 5th thing, whatever it is, this magical creation that is all of earth, air, fire, water. So you can look at earth, air, fire, and water coming together creates everything. All right, so there's enough esoteric explanation of the 5, but I think it kind of helps paint a picture of all that's possible with the 5. If you're in a 5 year, you've already achieved up to this level, at the very like a simplistic level of this, then this, then this, then this, and you've really set some things in motion, and things have become stable already. But now, because of all that you've made, you now are at a point of having to make something more from it, because your goal really in the philosophical sense of the tarot, of numerology, of geometry, of life, is to get to the 10. We all want to get to the 10. The 10 is the ultimate in culmination of what we want to achieve in anything we go to. So if it's love, you want to achieve this wonderful spiritual connection with who you're with. If it's your spirituality, you want to achieve a level of enlightenment. If it's your work, you want to achieve achieving that goal that you set out to be the boss of the company or to own your own business or something like this. It's the 10. It is the ultimate goal that you take all these steps to get to. The 10 is the completion. And then, of course, after the 10, then you start over again with 11, 12, and you move up. You level up into the next iteration. But we're not going up into that far right now. We're just sticking with 1 through 9, the basics, your year number, which is 5, which is regeneration. So you are halfway to completion. But halfway to completion means this is the point at which you must reinvest. Okay? You're no longer at the point where you could just keep plodding along and expect to get to the 10. You have to reinvest. You have to change things up. You have to create within what you created. I hope that's making sense to you. You've made something good. It's not good enough, though. You need to rethink it and birth a whole new universe from within the structure you've already created. So start thinking about ways to reinvest in. If it's a relationship we're talking about, all right, now you've gotten to that phase where things have quieted down. You're definitely together. You've reached the point at which things have become maybe a little boring. You know your routine of the week. You know that on X night you're going to stay and watch TV on the couch. Well, this can kind of lead to this rut. You can get stuck in a rut in that place. And same with your work. You know the routine. You know how it's going to go. You just go on and on and on and on. But things can't just stay the same. Things have to grow in order to stay alive. Nothing that is in the living world doesn't grow. Everything must grow. If it's not growing, it's dying. And we want to get to the 10. We want to grow and thrive and achieve our, the maximum joy out of anything that we create. So at the stage before, the stage you were in, you could be, if you're still sticking in the 4 this year, when your number is 5, that means that you're getting into a rut. It's time to infuse new life into the thing that you've already created. So again, with relationships, it's time to change things up. It's time to introduce some new challenges, maybe do some new hobbies together, change up the routine, introduce something new and exciting that you two can share. If it's your work, you need to level up what you're contributing to the company, or try a new angle that will infuse some new excitement into the situation. If it's your own business, new marketing, adding a new product, anything that you've created. And what's nice about it is that you're dealing with this kind of regeneration, this unstable feeling, this kind of shattering of the old and birthing the new, in a universal year of stability. So you have this kind of grace surrounding you that's protecting you from things feeling like utter chaos, because the general energy around you and surrounding all things and all people this year is going to be this kind of certainty. It's a people, how do I say, you're not fighting against more chaos. The general structure of what you're dealing with is just stable. It's just, the people and situations around you are trying to just be smooth. They're sitting in their place and they're being smooth, and it's a great time to feel like you will achieve when you're trying to regenerate in something that has already felt smooth. In other words, you may continue to feel a little bit like things are going smoothly, even though you're in a period of flux. Yes, I'll leave that there. Okay, on to 6. If you've watched this far, please indulge me for just a few more seconds as I just show you some articles of art that I've been making. It's Huichol bead art. It's pressing tiny glass beads into beeswax and pine pitch in geometric fashion. Part of what attracted me to this form of art is that it's so geometric in nature. You start with the 1 at the center and then you build the design out from that. And the further away you get from the center, the more complex the design becomes, just like in the numerology we showed today. And I have prayer bowls and different items. One of the fun things that I've been making a lot of lately, and I actually sold a lot of them, but they're made to order in my Etsy shop right now, are these beautiful little animals. little animal fetishes, if you will, or just ornaments or spirit animals or, totems, or just cute decorations or Christmas ornaments. However, all of them can stand on their own or be hung up. And right now they're made to order, but I will be making some pieces and just putting them, to buy off the shelf in days to come. However, there you go. And all these can be found at theancientsouthwest.com. There's a link to my Etsy shop there, or you can go directly to Etsy, etsy.com/shop/EyeOfGodArt. And if you get something out of these videos, if you enjoy it, a great way to support me and my efforts is to purchase a little something from my shop, because you don't just get the pleasure of watching a YouTube video for it. You actually get an item that you can hold and give to a friend or something like that for their birthday, whatever, you get something for it. So consider that if you're liking these videos. And other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. I have a lot of good solstice stuff coming up soon that I need to edit, and that'll be showing up pretty quick here on the channel. Have a great day. Happy New Year.